Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So this is the long overdue second trimester recap for this pregnancy. If you are new here, hi, my name is Lex. I am pregnant with our fourth and most likely final child. And this baby is our double rainbow baby. So what that means is I had 2 miscarriages before we conceived this baby, and now I am currently, as of today, about 2 days away from being 30 weeks pregnant. I apologize in advance for the noise in the back. I have the dishwasher going and that's just life. So you're just gonna have to kind of listen to the swooshy swashy in the background. But my second trimester went okay, I guess you could say. I did end up getting very, very sick during it. I did have COVID. And I was incredibly ill. I would say close to the most sick I have ever been. I've never been sick enough to where I was fearful for my life, scared to go into the hospital because I didn't think I would ever come out. That is the extent of my sickness. Everyone in our household got it, but me being pregnant, it was the worst. And we had traveled. So me and my 2 boys, we had flown to New York to go visit family. It was just so stressful and so hard on my body, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I felt so drained during that entire weekend from flying while pregnant and I was like 23-ish weeks pregnant, trying to navigate a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old and be on a plane. And then like we got stuck on the way there. We got stuck on the plane for 3 hours just sitting on the tarmac, and that was really difficult. I'm almost certain that's when we actually got sick. And then by the time that we had gotten back, it was almost like my body knew to just keep it together and to not be sick until I got home, because I walked inside the house and I went and I was like, I am so tired, I just need to go lay down, and I literally went to sleep. And then I woke up in the middle of the night feeling absolutely horrible, and that was the beginning of me being sick. So I had a fever that would not go down even with Tylenol, and being pregnant, they were really scared about that. I got to the point where I was vomiting every time that I would get into a coughing fit, which was often, and therefore I was getting dehydrated. It was really, really bad. My midwives, they talked it over and they told me to go to the hospital, go to the emergency room. So I ended up doing that. I was trying to avoid going into the emergency room, but I ended up going, and I actually had a really wonderful experience. It was super quick. I wasn't in there for a long period of time. It maybe was like an hour and a half, and I ended up getting a chest x-ray. We shielded the baby as much as possible. At that point, I was so visibly sick, and everyone could see how visibly sick I was, that we were past the point of like, oh, you know, potential risks of an x-ray. We were all mutually on the same like page that this could easily turn deadly in my scenario, and we were trying to keep me alive and my baby alive. We did a great job of shielding my body and shielding the baby from the x-ray, but the x-ray was very important to make sure that I wasn't getting pneumonia. I was able to then get a referral for something called a monoclonal, I don't know what it's called, antibody infusion. It's been a while since I was 22 weeks pregnant, almost 10 weeks ago. So my brain, I like can't remember. But anyway, I think it was monoclonal antibody infusion. And so I was able to go in the next day and get that done. So I left the hospital, then I went back into the hospital, and as like an outpatient procedure, was able to go into the facility that I needed to in the hospital and go get that infusion. I was there for a couple of hours, and I also, my midwife prescribed me Zofran. So the combination of Zofran, that one time that I had to take it in the morning, I took it on my way to the hospital for the infusion. So I had the Zofran, and the Zofran allowed me to actually get some hydration, and then I was able to eat a bag of pretzels. And the bag of pretzels and the hydration that I was able to keep down was enough to kind of turn me and give me enough like energy and strength to keep going. And then the infusion, I instantly felt better. I instantly felt just better. I don't know, I can't even describe it. So that combination of those things is really what had me like turn over and like feel better. And then I had to be really kind to my body, and even when I wanted to get up and like help Dan and do this and clean that, I had to just lay down because it could have easily turned the corner again and I could have gotten very, very ill, and we were just trying to keep me safe and keep the baby safe. So what having COVID and being pregnant and what that means is they're just going to do some slightly extra monitoring, which I would basically have extra monitoring to begin with because I have a history of ICP, and that is something that I could have again. And they're going to be doing, you know, like non-stress tests at the end of my pregnancy just to keep an eye out. But I will have a growth scan, and I'm going to be having that coming up soon. And so just to make sure that the baby's okay, and then on top of that, I'm also now taking a low dose aspirin every day. They say that you can have an issue with your placenta and like clots in your placenta, which would cause a lack of nutrients to the baby, which can cause growth restrictions. And so that is basically what they are monitoring with that. We also had little bouts of strep. And then Willa had a double ear infection. All of my children were on moxicillin at one point. Dan had a stomach virus. Then I got said stomach virus. The kids got a stomach virus. We've just been nonstop sick. That's what it's felt like. It's just been nonstop sickness. And I feel like we're not the only family who has experienced this. It seems like everyone I talk to, everyone I know, has had one bout after the other with some sort of sickness. As far as how I'm feeling now, I feel perfectly fine. I'm just getting larger and more uncomfortable. It's getting harder to sleep. I'm getting tired more. When I gain weight in my pregnancy, my body is like angry at me, so like the little things happen. My feet start getting like dry in the beginning of pregnancy, but then as I gain weight, it's like my poor little feet can't handle the weight, and so they start to crack, and then so I have like cracks in my heels and stuff. And if you guys have ever experienced that before, it is not fun. They hurt. And you know, I just, little things like that, my legs, you know, they start like chafing, and I'm not used to stuff like that. And so my body just gains a bunch of weight, and it's just not, I'm 5'2", and I just have like a more petite frame, even though you wouldn't be able to tell at the moment. So my body just like gets tired. Plus I'm older. I'm not, you know, young whippersnapper anymore in pregnancy. So I just feel like more fatigued in general. For a while there, I did not look pregnant, like at all, which was so funny to me. Like, and this baby still sometimes will like hide, where all of a sudden I just will wake up one morning and like I just don't look pregnant at all, and I'm like, where the heck is this baby? Somebody said that they noticed that when the baby has like certain position changes, that's what ends up happening. Like when the baby changes position, that's when they notice that their baby like you can't see them. As far as ICP goes, cholestasis of pregnancy, if you guys don't know what that is, that's when your bile acids, your liver starts to get like feisty with you during pregnancy, and it's not able to like filter your bile acids, and which causes an increase in them, and it can become toxic for your baby, and it's one of like the leading causes of stillbirth past 37 weeks. So it increases your chances of stillbirth, and then there's a bunch of other things like respiratory distress, meconium staining, things of that nature, that there seems to be like a correlation between all of those complications and ICP. And so the way that you get tested for ICP is a simple blood test, but the number one symptom that is usually present with ICP is itchiness. And a lot of pregnant women will kind of just be like, oh, I'm itchy because my skin's stretching, or I'm itchy because, you know, my hormones are different. When a lot of the times itchiness could be cholestasis of pregnancy. So it's really important to kind of keep an eye on that. If you are pregnant and you are itchy, or you know someone who is pregnant and is itchy, definitely mention it to them, and have them get their bile acids checked. A regular liver panel can be done to complement the bile acid testing, but you can't determine if you have ICP from a liver enzyme test. You need to have the ICP, like your actual bile acids checked, and you need to continue having them checked for as long as the symptoms present. So as long as you are itchy, you keep testing, because it's a number that can just fluctuate so drastically that you could catch it when the number's only like a 5, and then, you know, 3 hours later in the day it can be, you know, a 60. And so 10 or over while pregnant is considered a positive result for ICP, and the number can, like I said, can fluctuate. So as long as you are still itchy and still experiencing those symptoms, you should be testing your bile acids, especially as you get further along and you get closer to that 37-week mark. For me, I have gotten my bile acids checked with my midwife, and most recently they came back a 3, which is wonderful, a 3 out of 10. But so far so good. I am not experiencing really any itching, like anything out of the norm, and at this point I kind of know like what to look out for, so that's cool. I'm hopeful we're gonna be able to have our last baby born in a birthing center, and I would love to have this baby in the water. I haven't been able to do that with any baby yet. I just would love it. I would love that to be the end of our story, to having children. And yeah, but anyway, I think that is it for this video. I didn't really have too much to update you on. The second trimester is kind of just like chill, just kind of like casual. If I wasn't sick, it would have been pretty like just uneventful. Knock on wood that I can just completely avoid getting sick again during this pregnancy, because this poor baby, like, I had norovirus in the beginning. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. As always, we love you. I'm going to show you my bump now so you guys can sort of see what is going on. I do have tape on my umbilical hernia. That is what the tape is for. It just helps me support that part of my little belly.
Close your eyes, get some rest. I'm by your side, lay your head on my chest.